Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with Simon from the Sonoran Surfers. How are you?
Hi, doing real well. Very pleased to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Ryan.
You fit in right alongside all the other surf musicians we have here. Um, I really enjoyed listening to your music this week and getting to know the band a little bit. So I'm very happy to have you and finally meet you.
Yes, likewise. Of course, yes.
So let's start about I'd like to know where the name comes, the Sonoran Surfers.
Sure. So, I mean, the general idea, and I guess I'll like throw some of the background and have the shortest synopsis as possible. But like, let's say starting 2010, um, like I've always loved music, and even as a child, I loved music. I loved playing guitar, always fascinated by it. But there was a great bookstore in the area that allowed me to perform different music. And at the time, from let's say 2010 to like 2018, I was just playing a lot of kind of this ambient soundscape, acoustic guitar, like trying to make like these film soundscapes. But I had the opportunity of linking in a couple of friends, and in that I wanted to create some kind of performance that would be like a psychedelic surf type of uh performance, and I think that everything needs an angle, I guess. So I and where do you draw inspiration from? You draw it from so many places. Of course, one of them is the places you come from, right? So I live in Arizona. We live in the Sonoran Desert, and it's kind of a funny thing to think, hey, here's surf rock music from the desert where there's no water, which of course there are like old spaghetti western type bands too,
Yeah.
but we wanted to draw on that type of inspiration. So I set that up. I started looping that group in. We performed during 2019 about 2 to 3 times a month for that entire year. 2020 hit. We couldn't really perform, and at
Yeah.
that time I wanted to record some music on my own and also try to write, and because I was like, well, it'll open up sometime and we could all go out and maybe perform these songs that I write, or we could get together. We only rehearsed once. Unfortunately, my drummer had some health issues. He passed away in December 2020.
Oh, I'm so
And I think
sorry.
since then I've been trying. Yeah, it's it happens, but we loved him a lot. He was a great guy. And I mean, he's a part of the legacy, or if there is one, of this group. But since then I've been just thinking about the best way to reestablish, and if that's a matter of recording more, pushing in different ways. I try to not think of just the band, but I mean, really, whenever you do any of these types of projects, it's a matter of reaching out to your community, I guess, and having people involved and creating an experience. That's the big thing, So I know too, like I played around with creating a little mini zine. Like I printed only one issue of this zine that I made, but like I made a
Uh-huh.
zine that was just about surf music and guitars, and I went to Kinko's and just like mass produced a bunch of them and handed them out at record stores and stuff. But that might be something in the works later too. But I
Oh,
think that
great.
that's the very broad synopsis all pushed into one thing right now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the zine.
So Sonoran Surfer.
What's the
Yeah. So
zine
just in
called?
general too. Yeah. What's the scene like?
Yeah, the zine. What's it called?
Oh, oh, it's just called Sonoran Surfer, the zine.
Okay.
Yeah, because I kind of figure in my head too, like it's like anyone could be like a Sonoran surfer, right? It's just like someone that's into like the desert stuff and surf music.
Yeah.
That's yeah, yeah,
It's fun. It's funny um how a lot of surf fans, maybe it's because of the spaghetti western thing, that there are a lot of surf fans that do music about deserts and landscapes like that are from areas like that, and they use
sure.
that in their music as inspiration. So that's kind of what you do. Uh, but there's more of a traditional surf sound there too. Would you say?
Yes. I think there is, and I think I keep trying to tag back into that as much as I can because I'm inspired by all different types of things and sonically different types of things. And sometimes, like I have recordings from 2021. I was setting myself up to like do another album, but then I listened to it. I'm like, this is like borderline like heavy metal, and I'm like, I don't want it to go in that direction. Like I want to keep a lot of the surf element, even go more surfy. And I accumulate different types of gear that inspires me too. Like I just got that Surfy Bear pan,
Oh
from
yeah.
it's just fantastic. But I want to use that on more recordings.
So are you are you guys close to Phoenix? I don't know the landscape of Arizona very well.
Sure. So you think about Phoenix being just the central, right?
Yeah, kind of.
But there are different types of satellite cities. So I live in a city called Tempe, which has
Oh
Arizona
yeah.
State University. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also Mesa, which a lot of the rest of the band is around just Tempe and Mesa. And Chandler's really developing a lot right now. I think we've heard nationally, and I mean nationally, well, I don't know why. I guess I'm thinking about this too because I'm like kind of like part dipping my toe into like looking at houses again. But like the housing market is exploding, in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but lots of people from California moving in, and I mean it's a cheaper place and it's nice. It's or well, I mean it was a cheaper place. It's nice weather. There's no snow. It
Yeah.
gets hot like 2 months out of the year. Well, I mean, like unbearably hot 2 months a year. But yeah, yeah,
So let's get into you personally being the writer of this
sure.
music. Where do you draw, like you say, you have a broad palette that you choose from, but what specifically for the surf music that you do uh kind of made you get into surf music?
Excellent question. I recall sometime in high school, I can't remember the name of the compilation, but it was kind of like this spooky surf compilation, and it had a lot of great bands on it, and they were all instro surf. It was Satan's Pilgrims,
Oh yeah.
Madeira, stuff like that. I mean, I remember though that like had that was the first time I was like, yep, surf music is like its own thing. That's like great, like in tonality and everything. And I don't know if I really understood how much I enjoyed it then until like a little later too, really thinking about it and like delving into some of these bands and their background, like against Satan's Pilgrims, Madeira, Daikaiju. But
Yeah.
like they're amazing. They're like such great bands. Um Certainly the Shadows. I love the Shadows so much. Like Hank Marvin's great. Um, I don't know if that actually like answered it or I'm just like word salading stuff
No,
together
no,
in
no.
different bands. But
No,
but
it's
yeah,
great.
but I'd say that a lot of those bands are really inspirational to me. Of course, Dick Dale, right? Um, and it's been a journey onto itself to start playing more surf guitar and thinking about where the tones came from, and also being on Instagram, meeting a lot of people like yourself. There and a ton of other people. There's Josh from Altered State of Reverb. Like he was a good connection I made.
Yeah.
Um, a couple others, of course, Surf Hermits. That guy's great. He's so talented. You
Jason,
know.
yeah. He
Yeah,
did our
Jason's
theme
awesome.
song.
Yeah, he's so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, but I think you were talking about just inspiration in general. So sonically, the inspiration comes from all those types of bands. Splashy reverb, punk music. I like all kinds of music. I love punk, death metal, jazz. Just anything. There's a little bit of inspiration that could be drawn from anything. And then I think maybe if we're talking about like how I'd go about writing songs, like I think of sonically how it is, and it is kind of like a post. Like after I write something, I look at it and I think about what does this remind me of in our like desert landscape, or what is it that this would sound like that would be an Arizona experience? Because that's kind of what
Yeah.
I'm doing with this. Is I'm like, what is the Arizona experience like?
Yeah.
or that's what this group and focus is. And I think that's how a lot of the song names come about. Like there's one on this album that I wrote called Phoenix, called Trouble on the I-10, which the I-10 is this like freeway here. So I just like imagine all these chaotic cars like being stuck in traffic, and like people like just driving fast and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is the song for Trouble on the I-10.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the idea that you're specifically doing, because that's kind of a new thing for me. Hearing that you're talking about the state you're in, the surroundings.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting concept. How did you come up with that?
You know what I think it is, now that I'm really thinking about it, you're saying, and I think like in general, a lot of people do that, but without really making the pure intent of it. But I
Yeah.
think it comes from a lot of those Viking metal bands, you know,
Yeah.
like but it's true. Like they're like, hey, we live in this icy place, and we talk about all the North Scandinavian countries and stuff like that. And I was like, well, like, you could do that with any type of music. I'm like, I love surf music. I'm applying this to where I live, which is Arizona, in this desert kind of area. And even more than that, like, I know this is maybe offshooting into something else, but I know another part of it, like over the past 2 years, I've gotten so much into skateboarding. I'm a real novice skateboarder, but I'm like, I've even thought, hey, why don't I make like a skate video, or like skateboard decks and stuff, with like the like band logo or whatever, and just like keep going on that angle. But
surf music is also a great style of music to skateboard to. I could totally see that.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you're skating, who do you find gives you the most energy?
Like listening to music when I'm skating.
Yeah.
Certainly I throw on a lot of surf tunes. I'd say like one of my very favorite, like that Ancient Winds album from Madeira is like one of
Oh
those
yeah.
newer recent. It's so good. Like all the tracks on it are total, I'll say bangers. They're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
It's an
like that's
intense
like if I
album.
were like to write, it is. Yeah, and they have, I don't know, just the songwriting on it's just top notch. Yeah. But yeah, so surf music, any kind of, just it's got to have like a higher BPM. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the
but a
kaiju.
lot of times I won't. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's a great one to skate to. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I don't know how to do any tricks, but I like just like carving around all the bowls and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
So you mentioned you wanted to write songs during the pandemic when things slowed down. But how is the band working now that things are opening up?
It's kind of a mix. Like we played a real small handful of shows in 2021. Um, we had alternating drummers, so I mean that's the tough part with like any kind of like DIY kind of self-made band, is like finding a drummer, right?
Yeah.
I've thought of like different times, because I can play both like bass, guitar, and drums. So like I've been like, well, do I want to play drums and like find another guitarist? But then like I never found, like, all the other people in the band. The bassist is kind of a mainstay. That guy Todd Hoover, he's great, and he has his own like kind of project too. He's a school teacher. He teaches music, but he's always the mainstay, like, because I know like when we go to these gigs too, the live act is so different right now from that recorded music, because the live act, we never rehearse. We just show up to places, and then I'm like, okay, key of G, let's go, and then
Oh.
like Todd the bassist, yeah, exactly. So it's weird because it's kind of like this psychedelic surf jam band that I'm like, let's go to different festivals and places. We all have day jobs, we don't have time to like well, like, I mean, if we need the time, go ahead and rehearse, but like we've been really good at like not using time and like just going to places and playing, and like sometimes we get paid, sometimes not, but like it's fun because I don't know, it's kind of like we're just taking all the work out of it and like just doing this jam band thing. I don't know, but Todd's always been there, the bassist. We haven't had a consistent drummer, so like I'm trying to like reestablish this. And like if I have the right people in place, then I could go ahead and like say, okay, let's get to rehearsing and actually getting ready to perform at like different venues. But like I need the I guess the people that think in a similar way that I do. It's the
Yeah.
gelling with each other, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. So it's been interesting. And we've had like guest musicians sometime. Like I had a baritone sax guy come in once, and
Yeah.
it's that bookstore always puts us up. Like I could like play there anytime. And it's fun because you have like a real wide audience. I played in like punk band, death metal bands in the past, and you're always at some kind of a grungy bar. But like if you're at this bookstore, like there are like kids that see you and they've never seen a band before in their life. You like
Yeah.
watch their faces light up, and it's fun, Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. There is Philadelphia used to be like that. They have a lot of jazz in like the bookstores and things like that, the cafes.
Right.
That was that always having a band, even if it's just a trio, in a setting that's not usually known for having bands, like a bookstore or such, is very it heightens the experience. You're part of the
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I used to try to have like little instruments around too, like so if people wanted to like have like a little like maraca or shaker, they could like come in and play with us.
Oh,
You know what
nice.
I mean? Because that's what I'm talking about. Is like it needs to like people need to think more about what is the experience you're setting up for them. And I guess it's like I'm talking kind of about like customer service type of stuff,
Yeah.
but like what is the experience they're getting, rather than just we are a band, and we're kind of doing this self-serving act.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit how you recorded the your two releases, which
Sure.
are very good, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. All DIY inside of this apartment, late into the night. So let's say we're in 2020. It's total pandemic times. Like my old company that I was working at the time. We went full remote work. So I was like working at home during the day, and at the night I was kind of burning the midnight oil, recording these songs, and I had it on this computer that I was having like some technical problems. Like it's like it might be on its I might be getting a new laptop soon. But I had a Behringer interface. What I was recording with Audacity, which is a free software for multi-tracking.
Yep.
I was using different drum machines and like drum patches and stuff like that to do a lot of the drum work, and I was just recording straight from behind me is a Fender Tone Master amplifier that has like a lot of good softwares and IR. So like I just XLR'd in and put on some headphones. And then the bass was like bass DI'd in. So it's all completely silent recording, and I did all the tracks.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so what's going on right now? What's going on right now, and where can people find you to get a hold of you and to hear your music?
So Bandcamp is where I have pretty much all of the songs um for free download. Like I mean, I'm not trying to make any money. Like if I get anyone's attention or eyeballs on me for a second, then it's like here's free stuff, please. Like you know what I mean. But YouTube, Bandcamp, I do have at least one of the releases and one single on Spotify because I kind of wanted to like I'm gonna call it like mark my territory
Yeah.
on like those platforms. Yeah, so I like paid up the money to get it on there.
Yeah.
um, um, but or else just like email me. I don't know. I think it's the Sonoran Surfers at gmail.com. But like
Okay.
just email me. Or Instagram, of course. I am frequenting Instagram, so message me on Instagram, and that's a great way to get me. That's how you got me.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
one thing I noticed more so than Facebook is that a lot of bands respond quicker, even labels on Instagram. Instagram seems to be the home base now,
Yeah.
as far as getting a hold of people. What what does your page kind of bring to the forefront of the band experience?
For a while there, I was posting like, and there was like a little bit where I was going to like every skate park in Arizona and just being like, "Hey, look at this! This is what the skate park is," or "I'm on a hike. Check out what this scenery is." So it was again about drawing the Arizona experience to people,
Yeah,
and also, but I think I was doing a little too much of that, and I still am like, we are a rock band, or this is a rock band project. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I need to keep making sure I'm emphasizing that. But then it's like, how much production am I doing? And then I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, I don't actually know how to answer that. It's just so some combination between the Arizona experience and being in a
yeah.
band and producing music. Yeah.
Cool. So what
Yeah.
people can find you on YouTube, and the link to your content is in our featured channels. So after this interview, if you like what you hear, go check out the band. Um, what sort of videos can we expect to see on YouTube?
Any of the live videos that I set up a camera on. So there are a good amount of those. Some of the recorded music I just uploaded onto YouTube. I think that's about it. At one time, like I was thinking, and I think there's maybe one or two videos where I'm venturing into like, because I was like, well, what? Again, it's like you have these different avenues to provide experience to people, but you need to be focused too. But like I
Yeah,
was like, okay, well, what if I start doing like instructional videos on like how to get a good surf guitar tone?
yeah,
What stuff do you need? And like I know there's one where I'm like looking at an amplifier, I'm like, here are all the different parts of this amplifier and why it's a good surf amplifier. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that might be something that I delve into later, but I just haven't gotten there yet. There are a lot of like okay ideas that I have kind of brewing, but it's just
uh-huh,
not there yet. Like that YouTube channel developing, a zine developing, But
yeah,
I think those are all great ideas, but
yeah. It's a
so
lot of
yeah, it's just
work.
live performances and music. Yeah, it is a lot of work. And then you got your day job, right?
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
family and friends and
Yep.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else before we sign off you'd like to talk about specifically that I haven't mentioned or asked about?
Um, I don't think in particular. I just know to just in like skateboarding over the past couple of months, everyone wear your helmet and wear some safety stuff because it is kind of dangerous. It's not it is something to laugh at, but it's like also, man, like, be safe out there, Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Because everyone wants to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed your music, Simon, and I enjoyed talking to you. I love when I hear people who want to do music. They just, put their nose to the grindstone and they just do it themselves if there's no other option, and they just do it. And I really admire that
Yep.
about you. And thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I sure do appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you. Goodbye.